Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Today we are installing these bad boys right here on my Miata. These are Tein Flex Z coilovers. So I had actually had these for a while now, and me and Chris actually went up to driving in the mountains, and man, there's so much body roll. I was really not too confident on driving it. I mean, I was going faster than I should, but there's so much body roll that I kind of had to like take it easy. So actually, like I said, I had these for a while now and I haven't thrown them on yet, but now it's time to throw these bad boys on. I enjoyed the stock life, you know, being high and being comfortable, but the handling wise, it wasn't as crisp as it should be for a Miata. So let's get started on putting these on. All right, so the car's in jack stands and then all four wheels are off. First thing I'm going to do is actually remove the interior pieces to get into where the strut bolts are. So if you have a spare wheel, just loosen it up, take it out. Next is we're going to move these pop clips, 1, 2, and 3 in there, and we're going to take this out. All right, once that's out, there should be 2 bolts here, one here and one here, right there. Looks like a 10 millimeter, and it is a 10 millimeter. Oop, I lied. There's 2 more on the bottom. And there you can see where the strut is. What we're gonna do is move the lower bolt for the strut, which is 17 millimeter, and we're gonna remove a 14 millimeter nut on the end link of the sway bar, and then we can move on top of the 14 millimeter bolts that's holding the strut. If you guys got impact gun or air tool, use it. It'll just make your life easy. All right, onto the end link. There goes the nut. The reason why I'm removing the end link is to get less stress on this arm, so then I can kind of just move this down a little to remove the strut. All right, now removing the 14 millimeter nuts on the top strut. Now we got that out of the way, I'm gonna push down the hub and then kind of just wiggle out the strut. You could do it with 2 people, I mean, you can also do 1 person, but I'm here by myself, so we'll see how it works. There you go. Took a while, but yeah, you gotta just fiddle with it. Not gonna lie, that did make me sweat, but to fix that, boom. This video is sponsored by Rockstar. Just kidding, but if you're watching, please. Damn, that's good. Most of the time I do things by myself, and it is possible, but it's just a lot more easier if you had a second hand, but you know, you can get it done. Second strut is out. Same process, so I didn't want to bore you guys with it. Quick tip too, if you guys don't want to lose any bolts or anything, you can always put back like the bolt like this, and you know, the nut, so then you know the orientation of how it goes, and plus you won't lose stuff. Also a reminder, on the lower strut bar, the lower strut, there is a locking washer that goes first, and then the nut. This makes sure that the bolt stays in place and it won't lose grip or anything, so don't forget to put that in. So this is the rear stock Teins. You see there is a big ass difference in height. The guy I got it from, he barely used these coilovers, maybe less than 1,000 miles, so they look very, very brand new. I might just keep the setting the way it has right now, and then just readjust it after I lower the car and see if I like the height or not. When you install coilovers, make sure you have the preload set. You know, just make sure the spring doesn't move around or have any play. There's 2 collars here and one on the bottom. The bottom one for good coilovers, this is for the height adjustment, so you just loosen this up when it's on the car, and you be able to turn the body to lower the car and not the preload, because some coilovers, the preload and also the height adjustment is built into one, so you wouldn't have this bottom collar, you would just have this top portion, and then to lower the car you had to like compress the spring down. But luckily we don't have to do that because the Tein Flex Z's, they have both features. So yeah, just make sure there's no play in the spring, so your preload is set. So to preset your preload, you just want to make sure the springs are not moving. You could just compress it more if you want more of the springs to be stiff, but this looks good right here. All you do is just tighten it where it doesn't play, and then the height adjustment be down here, and use a tape measurement to make it evenly. So taking out the stock suspension is a little more tough than put in aftermarket ones. Usually if you want, you can make the body of the new coilovers shorter so then it can go in easily, but you can see here it just goes in just like that. It's way easier than taking off the stock suspension. What I'm going to do first for the rear is just attach the two bolts on top, and then I'll get back to putting on the end link and then the lower bolt. You will be using your stock hardware to attach the new coilovers on. These are two people, but whatever. So it's a good idea to torque spec down the bolts. So the upper bolt is 23 to 34 pounds and the lower bolt is 54 to 69, and where the end link is at 24 to 70 pounds. Make sure you guys do that. Some people don't, but I do it. You guys have a lot of money, you use pretty much any type of torque wrench, but I'm using one from Harbor Freight. I think it was like $10 on sale, and it's good for what it is. When I get more money, I'll get a better one. So I'm actually torque it down to 30, which is kind of in the middle of what's recommended for the upper strut. So all you do is just rotate this, to the number you need, and tighten it at the bottom for this Harbor Freight one. So you just tighten it until you hear a click, and you can just stop. So you hear that click, you just stop. That click, that's enough. 30 pounds. I'm gonna go to this one again to make sure. Okay. You can also feel it click too if you don't hear it. There we go. Next, I'm gonna attach the arm to the strut. What I'm gonna do is use the jack to lift it up. There. Remember to put the locking washer in first. Now I'm gonna torque this down to, I think the highest, it was from 54 to 69. I'll probably just torque it down to 65. 65 pounds. Next is the sway bar end link. The torque specs stated that's 27 to 40. I'm gonna do a 35. Remember, the bolt goes inward and then nuts on that towards the rear. So if you keep twisting it, it's gonna keep moving the bolt behind it. So just grab another socket that's 14 to lock it in place. There we go, 35 pounds. All right, so we're done with the passenger rear. I'm gonna get done with the driver rear, and we'll move on to the front. All right, all done with the rear, everything torqued down. I'm not gonna put in the interior of the rear yet until I get the right height, and then I can do the adjustment for the dampening. So let's start on the front. Front is kind of sort of like the rear, so I'm going to be removing the lower nut or bolt and then loosening up the end link right here, and then the two bolts on top, and then we will to remove the strut. So the bolt sizes are the same. The end link is 14 and the strut is 17. Take off the end link. I love you, Air Tools. Okay, so the orientation of the end link is that it goes towards like this, towards the rear of the car, and the nuts on the opposite side. I think I might switch it the other way around only because it's hitting this tie rod. It'll probably be easier just to put it in this way, and then the nut on the other side, just so it's easier to take out, because it was I had to kind of wiggle it to get the bolt out, so that was kind of a pain. Now let's get this lower nut out. lower bolt, I mean. And the bolt is on towards the end of the car. There's a nut on the one side. Let's see if we can take it out without putting anything on the back. Okay, get that loose. On the nut bolt side, there is a bolt and a locking washer. There we go, it's out. This is loose. Now the fun part is actually getting the strut out. Before we do that, we're just gonna take the two bolts on the top out. Here's one bolt and the other bolt's like all the way over there. One down, one more to go, and it's right here. Now the fun and horrible part is actually pushing down the hub to remove the strut. Let's see if we can get this in one try. Push it down. Alright, so I finally got out the strut. So in addition to removing the end link and also the lower strut bolt, you do need to remove the lower control arm out of the way, so then you'll be able to pull the strut out. Because I mean, there's no way for you to actually take out the strut without removing this arm. This is impossible. So let me show you on the other side. You're gonna need to remove the lower strut bolt, the end link, and also here is the control arm. There's a nut in the side and the bolt side. So it's a 21 millimeter bolt and nut. So just put a breaker bar and then a wrench, and then you'll be able to undo the nut and then pull out the bolt towards the car. You do need to let's see if you can see this. This is the sway bar. You do need to but lower the nut a little bit, take it out a little bit, and then you'll be able to pull the nut, the bolt all the way through towards the car. It's a pretty long nut, but that's like the best way to remove the strut easily. I'm gonna finish the driver's side and I'll show you what I mean on the passenger. If you still have your OEM under tray, you need to remove it. So there's a 12 millimeter bolt right here, and also right here that holds the rod for the bumper. That way you'll be able to access the end link bolts, and then when you can pull out the 21 millimeter bolt out to lower the low control arm. My bad, the under tray bolts are 10 millimeters. Well, mine's are 10 millimeters. I think these have been replaced before, so yours might be different. So the bolts are off. We can just pull this downwards to get out of our way. There we go, and you can see right here the end link. We're just gonna just lower it a tad bit so we can be able to get this bolt out. So it's easier to break the bolt than the nut because you don't really have a space because of the brake line here, the bracket. Here's the nut here. So after you remove the nut, there is a washer and a bigger washer, so make sure you put that properly back. So now what we're going to do is pull the bolt outwards. First what we're going to do is just hit with a hammer, kind of get it out, and we'll see if we can kind of just pull this out a little. I'm gonna try probably just take a screwdriver and just bang it out that way. So this is the long bolt that just came out of the arm. There's a washer at the end of it. You're gonna have to pull it all the way to the front, and then you'll be able to poke it back out this way. Yeah, all the way in there. So then you just kind of, the arm will come off a little bit. Just make sure the brake line is not like hanging. Now we're just gonna remove the two top bolts. All right, strut bolts on top are out. We can just push this down a little bit, and voila, easy. Ooh, way better than not taking out the lower control arm, because that was very difficult. All right, let's put the new coilover in. Now all we gotta do is just reverse everything, and we'll be done with the front and the whole thing. Oh boy, it doesn't look that dark on camera, but it's getting dark. So I got the bolt in, the long one, and then the washers and the nuts. When you want to put this back, also with the end link, you want to raise up the car as if it's like level to the ground, because if you start tightening it and then you lower the car, you're going to create a lot of stress for that the mounts, and then over time it's just gonna deteriorate. So let's jack up the car. I mounted it right on the bottom of the mount right there. I'm gonna lower, let's see, let's actually put the nut in first, the bolt of the strut. Let's put the locking washer on, and then the nut. Uh-oh, where'd she go? There she is. Alright, at the same time we'll put in the sway bar. We're gonna lift up the car. Just enough where the car almost lifts up from the jack stand. So that means that it's sort of leveled, like if it's ground, on the ground. Okay, so it's up already. Now we're going to torque down the upper control arm, and then the end link, and then the strut itself. Control arm, the front one, its torque specs is 54 to 69. I'm going to torque at 65. Upper strut nuts are 23 to 34. I'm going to torque mine at 30. Alright, almost done. Now we just gotta put these three 10mm bolt and nut in. Oh, wait a minute. Almost forgot the end link bolt. We gotta do that first. Alright guys, I lowered the other side. Wheels are on. Let's see what this looks like. You guys ready? Damn. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see what this gap is with the setting. 2 fingers. The front's about 2 fingers, so it's pretty even. Let's check out the other side. 2 fingers. 2 fingers. So it's even all around. Let's check out the front. It's pretty good. I think this is a pretty good height for daily driving, and we'll see how I feel and let the coilovers settle and see how much lower it gets. Overall, I'm pretty happy. It's pretty low now. Way better than it was before. That's like not too terribly dragging on the floor. I might want to go lower. What do you guys think? Drop a comment down below if you guys dig this, or should I go lower or not? It took forever. As you guys can see, it's already dark outside. I took my time doing it, and it's a good learning experience to work on this car. And I hope you guys get motivated to work on your own car versus taking it to a shop and paying somebody, which is ridiculous because they'll probably charge you like $50 for each corner, or maybe more, who knows. But I feel good. The dampening is set to what Tein recommends is 8 clicks. So it's in the middle, since it's only 16-way adjustable for dampening. I'm gonna see how that feels and just tinker with it. But thank you guys for watching, staying to the end. If you did, great. Remember to comment, like, subscribe, and more content for the Miata. Peace out.